Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be introducing a new eyeshadow panning project that I am so excited about for 2024. I am going to be doing the Project Level Up. If you're unfamiliar with Project Level Up, it was created by Sofie Alexandra, who is one of my favorite YouTubers. I will have her link down below. I am going to be doing a light version of the project, which I've seen some other people do, and I think it will be a little bit better suited to me and my current palette collection. So I will explain the rules of Project Level Up. Basically, you start with one palette on level 1 and you use every shade in the palette one time and try to hit pan on one shade. Level 2, you pick a different palette, you try to use every shade 2 times and hit pan on 2 shades, etc., etc., until you hit level 5, and then you can either keep going if you want, or you can restart and go back to level 1, which, let's be honest, is probably what I'm going to do, assuming I even get to level 5 this year. But with the light version, instead of hitting pans, like for level 1, instead of using every shade one time and hitting one pan, what some people do is they set a usage goal on one focus shade. That is what I have decided to do. So instead of trying to hit pans in each level, I'm going to be picking one focus shade for level 1, 2 focus shades for level 2, 3 focus shades for level 3, you get the idea, and using each of my focus shades 10 times. The reason for this is I would like to keep the project interesting. I'm a bit of a slow panner, so in order to keep this project moving along, I think the 10 use goal will be a little bit better. And also, apart from my oldest palettes in my collection, which are the ones I'm working on in my Pan That Palette this year, I'll have that video linked down below. The majority of my palette collection is pretty new or new to me. So I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes that I've only used a handful of times, and I'd really like to use this project as a way of getting to know the palettes in my collection a little bit better. That's my primary goal rather than hitting pans, at least for this year. So I hope that makes sense. I'll try to link some other creators that I've seen do the light version of this project as well, so that you can go and check out their videos and maybe they do a little bit more of a clear and concise explanation than what I've tried to do. But for today's video, I am going to be choosing my level 1 palette, and I'm going to be randomly generating the palette from the list of palettes in my collection on my phone using the Tiny Decisions app. I am really excited to see what palette I get. I have imported all of my palettes into here, with the exception of the 2 palettes I'm working on for my Pan That Palette or Pan Those Palettes project. And I can't wait to see which palette is going to be the level 1 palette that I'm going to be working on for the next little bit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and generate the level 1 palette. Natasha Denona Sunrise. Okay, I have to say, for some reason I wasn't expecting that. I don't know why. I don't know what I was expecting, but this is interesting because this is one of the only palettes in my collection that I have actively rearranged. So I'm thinking maybe I should put it back to make it fair. Should I put back the shades that I took out to make it a fair project? Maybe I will do that. Let me go grab the palette and then I will show you what I mean. Okay, I'm sorry for the ring light in my glasses, but I need to be able to see for this part. So this is my Sunrise palette in its rearranged form. So I did rearrange some of the shades, but I also just took some of the shades out and I added a random kind of neutral brown Natasha Denona single in. But since I do have my Pan That palette, which will take care of my neutral mattes, I think I'm actually going to take that single shade out and put back in the shades that I had removed to, I don't know, make this a full palette and return it back to the original shades that it had in it. So it won't be arranged the same way, but at least all of the shades will be the original shades to this palette. So let me go do that and then I will come back to show you the palette with all of the shades intact. All right, so all the original shades are back in, even if they don't necessarily correlate to the names that are in the palette. So I will be using each of these shades 10 times. And then for my focus shade, I'm gonna go with this shade right here, which already has a pretty significant dip on it. So I'd be interested to see what this is looking like after the 10 uses. It's this shade right here as the palette is arranged. Now, as I'm sitting here, I'm actually thinking this would pair pretty well with my Pan Those palettes because they're really warm and they have some plummy and some red and some orangey options. So this actually turned out to be a really great palette to start with. So yeah, if I successfully use all of these shades once and my focus shade 10 times, then I will get to level up and I will come back and together we can choose my level 2 palette. So I am really looking forward to this project. I'm looking forward to getting some use out of my eyeshadow palettes and getting to know the palettes in my collection. If you are interested in following along, don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And if any of you are doing this project, please let me know in the comments. This is honestly one of my favorite projects to watch the updates of because, I don't know, I just think it's so fun to see people's progress and to see which palettes they get when they level up. And yeah, I just love this project. So thank you to Sofie Alexandra for creating such a fun one for all of us to take part in. Thank you so much for watching this intro video. I hope you are all doing well and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.